Hi everyone and welcome back. Thank you for tuning in again. This time I'm going to be showing you how to make a great alternative to chicken nuggets. So we're going to be making tofu nuggets. We're going to use tofu to act as the chicken as it has the same kind of pull apart texture. We're going to use some different flavors and we're going to introduce children to some new flavors in smaller doses. So let's get right into it with the tools we need. So we're going to need a sheet pan. We're going to need a child-safe alternative to knives. We're going to need some sort of cloth or paper towel. And we're also going to need a cutting board. So now let's start with our ingredients. So our first ingredient is 1 block of extra firm tofu. We need 1/4 a cup of any plant-based milk or aquafaba. So aquafaba is just the water left over in a can of chickpeas. So you can strain the chickpeas and you can use the water. Don't let that go to waste. There's so many great options to use with that. We're going to need 1/4 of a cup of breadcrumbs. And then we're going to use our seasoning. So we have 1/4 of a teaspoon of paprika, 1/4 of a teaspoon of nutritional yeast, 1/4 of a teaspoon of garlic powder, and 1/4 of a teaspoon of onion powder. So this is all of those. And it is important when you're cooking with infants and toddlers to start introducing them, or maybe less infants, more toddlers. You're gonna wanna start introducing them to different flavors in small amounts. So you don't wanna just throw a chili pepper in. You wanna start easing them into different flavors, see what they like, see what they dislike, and adjust from there. Once they've tried it once or twice, you can begin to add a little bit more until they enjoy it. So that's just one way to introduce new flavors to your child with seasonings. And our last ingredient is 1 tablespoon of vegetable oil. I'm using a sunflower oil. You can use any oil you have in the house. Doesn't really matter. So let's begin. Our first step is going to be with our tofu, and we're going to want to strain it. So this means we're just getting any of the excess water left in. We're going to get it out. This allows it to absorb a little bit more flavor, and it just gives it a better texture. So we're going to start with our cloth. We are going to get our cutting board here. We're going to place our cloth right on the cutting board. You're going to put your tofu in the middle of the cloth and wrap it up, just like a present. And then you're going to want to put something heavy on it. So you can use a sheet pan and you can put stuff on top, or you can just use a frying pan. That's what I'm going to be using. And then we're just going to press it out with our frying pan for about 10 minutes. So I'll be right back after that's pressed out. Okay, so we're back after 10 minutes and our tofu has been pressing. So that's just really letting any of the excess water out. We're gonna take our pan off. We are going to unwrap our present of tofu. And you can see in the towel, all the excess water will have drained into that. It'll leave a little bit on the cutting board, but it's not too big of a deal. So we're gonna put our towel away for now. And we're going to begin with our tofu. So to cut it, I'm just going to be using a butter knife. Be very careful when you're cooking with this. You never want to use a knife without an adult around you. We just want to be as safe as possible in the kitchen while we're still having fun. Other alternatives you can use are crinkle cutters, butter knives, kid-safe knives, anything of that sort. You could even use a spatula because tofu is really easy to cut, so it doesn't take much effort. So all you're going to do with an adult with you is just start cutting it into nugget shaped pieces. So what I did is I just cut them into squares. I cut the block of tofu into 6 pieces long ways, and then each piece I cut 3 times, and that just gave me these perfect little squares. If you want to, you can break apart the edges, give it like more of a chicken nugget look, but it doesn't really matter. And now we can begin with our breading process. So we're gonna move our cutting board aside. We're going to get our plant-based milk or aquafaba along with our breadcrumbs. So we're going to get our vegetable oil and we are just going to pour that into our plant-based milk and give that a stir. And then we're going to get our seasonings from before, and we're going to put that in our breadcrumbs. So when you use little amounts, it really just begins to introduce children to flavors, and it just acts as a great start to introducing these flavors. So mix that in with the breadcrumbs. The breadcrumbs will also help tone the flavors down in case the child doesn't like it that much. So what we're gonna do, just switch these around. We're gonna start with our tofu piece, and we're going to dip it into our plant-based milk and oil wash. And then we're gonna put it in our breadcrumbs and coat it. After it's coated, we're gonna put it back into our wash, give it one last dunk, and then we're gonna put it back into our breadcrumb and seasoning mixture. And once you have that done, you can put it right on your baking sheet. I'm gonna repeat this process and I'll be right back. So I have my tofu breaded. They look really good. I just put it on a baking sheet on top of my silicone mat. You can use that in place of parchment paper. It saves a little bit less waste and it saves a little bit more money. So that's great. We're gonna pop these in the oven at 350 degrees and we're gonna wait 20 minutes. So sit tight and be careful when we're using the oven. We always wanna use the oven with an adult around us. So pop those in the oven and I will be right back. So they have been in the oven for about 20 minutes. I just checked and they are golden brown, the perfect color we want for them. I'm gonna take them out, place them on a hot pad. So when we're taking it out of the oven, we wanna make sure we're using our oven mitts or we're using some sort of cloth so we don't burn our fingers. The oven is very, very hot, so you wanna be very, 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 very careful. Okay, let's take it out. Perfect, and we're gonna place it right on our hot pad. I'm gonna show you, they look beautiful. They're nice and golden. So we're gonna put it on our hot pad. We're gonna leave it for about 5 to 10 minutes. Once they're cooled, we can enjoy them, we can plate them, and we can dip them in our favorite sauces. I'm gonna use ketchup because that's just what I like, but you use whatever you want. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. I hope you try this recipe out, and I hope you like it. So thank you for joining. I'll see you all next time. Bye.